the fires of the Metal Wars arose a new breed of warrior, born and trained to bring down Lord Dredd and his Bio-Dread Empire. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. And this is one show that is primed for a reboot. It's a 1987 TV show that only had one season, and there was a planned second season. But the thing about it is that this television show has garnered quite a cult following over the years and is becoming very popular, which means that it is a good idea for a reboot. Not only are there some scripts for the second season, a lot of ideas, a lot of stuff going on right there, but there was also a plan for this reboot in 2016, which would have been 15 years after the end of season 1, or series 1, of the original 1987 to 88 storyline. And with that, I don't know what happened with it, but we will talk a little bit about it. And of course, with popular TV shows like this and future possible movies or TV shows comes toy lines. I did discuss pretty much everything that has been made for the toy line by Mattel back in the day, but we'd also see some future stuff. But we're going to talk about this and more coming up. There was a time that Marvel movies just dominated the box office, and I have to say that Avengers Endgame was the most appropriately named movie ever. I remember watching it thinking, how are they going to beat this for the next one? Like, it seemed like they just kept getting a little bit better as they kept making these Avengers movies, and guess what? They haven't beat it yet. In my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like the Marvel movies have sort of flatlined after this, and we need new ideas. We need new ideas. We need new concepts. Although Captain Power is not a new idea, it's more fresh than something like this, or Batman, or Superman, or Spider-Man, or all that stuff just getting rebooted over and over. So how popular is this? Well, aside from the obvious Facebook groups and people talking about it on, well, basically Facebook groups, you gotta look and see one of the biggest toy YouTubers that's changed their name to Secret Galaxy. They were Toy Galaxy. Their number 2 video is Captain Power, but it's got beat out by every other cartoon of the 80s combined. Beat it out barely. And so with that, you got to understand that this is a very popular storyline, a very popular show, and there's a lot of interest in it. There would not be this much interest in it if it wasn't that popular. Earth 2147, the legacy of the Metal Wars, where man fought machines, machines won. Bio-Dread's the monstrous creation that hunt down human survivors and digitize them. Volcanica, center of the Bio-Dread Empire, stronghold, and the fortress of Lord Dredd, feared ruler of this new order. But from the fires of the Metal Wars arose a new breed of warrior, born and trained to bring down Lord Dredd and his Bio-Dread Empire. These were the Soldiers of the Future, mankind's last hope. So basically you got the good guys taking on Lord Dredd here, and he, of course, is reporting to Overlord, and he has become one with this whole Overlord machine, man and one and the same, trying to chase perfection, and that's the whole goal right here. But he is quite a villain. But the thing about this is that it's a bit humanized villain. He feels like he's doing the right thing, although obviously he's not, but he believes that he is. He is a bit conflicted as a character, and with that, it is very interesting to watch. He also used to be friends with Captain Power, Jonathan Power's dad, and they were both scientists together working on similar type technology. Other parts of the team were Major Matthew Hawk Masterson, Lieutenant Michael Tank Ellis, Sergeant Robert Scout Baker, and then Corporal Jennifer Pilot Chase. And I won't reveal the end of Season 1, Series 1. If you want to go back and watch that, it's available on YouTube. You can watch the whole Series 1, the whole Season 1 right here on YouTube, which makes it difficult to use too many clips in a video. Now, the original show was very low budget, and I've got to say a reboot of this would look fantastic, a much higher budget, and would have much better CGI. We're going to get into that. A lot of the shots looked like they were filmed in an empty, abandoned warehouse, or some sort of dark, dreary area And that's what they were going for, but it really did feel and look low budget. As much fun as it is, and as much as I enjoyed watching this more than any other show from the 80s that I rewatched, I enjoyed this the most, did feel very low budget. Now, this might be a personal preference. Okay, it is. I actually love these post-apocalyptic movies, like Terminator, Terminator 2, like all of these other ones. Waterworld was a lot of fun, and people hated that one. But I think this works the best for post-apocalyptic movies because it makes sense. It seems like something that we could picture our future being if things go awry and go this direction. Of course, there are some little bit too sci-fi elements, you would almost call them fantasy elements, but still we see the development and the change makes it relevant today. And 2147, that's a long ways away. We could be that advanced by then. There were some love interest parts of the show, and there were more love interests planned in the future for the series 2 or season 2. But I do want to say with these actors, I think they did a great job. They went on to doing other things, but I want to point out that Tim Dunnigan is still active in Facebook groups a little bit. I see him here and there, which is really cool. And that's amazing that we have this going on. And from the 80s, from a popular show like this, and you see actors still talking to fans. That is a lot of fun. Now, they had the limits of technology back in the 80s, or at least with the CGI. It was very early CGI, and for the time, it was impressive that they even could pull that off at the time. But nowadays, watching that is the one eyesore of the show, is when you see Sauron and these other bots, that they are not animated as well as you would see in like stuff in the Endgame and the Marvel movies and all of that. This would definitely be top notch if we did it today, and you probably wouldn't even be able to tell what's CGI and what's not because they do so much good work these days. But the limits of technology at the time will be revisited, and it'll be much better in a reboot, and this will be so much more fun to watch. Now, I do want to hold on to practical effects. If they do reboot this, when they reboot this, I would love to see stuff like the skybikes being real props, not edited in or anything like that. And that is one of the things where kind of we lost Star Wars when it rebooted, because in the prequels, everything felt fake. And then, yeah, they did the sequel trilogy. A lot of stuff was actual real props again. That was one good part of the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. But when you look at this, I would want them to continue having real props and making it feel as real as it was. As low budget as this show was, they were still able to use a lot of real props that looked very convincing and exciting and fun. Now, I don't want to do any spoilers, reveal any spoilers, but kind of there's a big explosion where it ends off the last of season 1 and series 1 going into season 2, which makes a huge impact in the direction of where they're planning to go with season 2. So season 1 ended with the explosion. Season 2 is going into a really dark era of the show, which I kind of feel like fits the show very well. I would actually like to see that season 2. I would like to see them go a little bit further with it. There were 18 episodes planned for season 2. Most of them had a working title, and some of them have a small description here, but allegedly have full scripts for at least 10 of the episodes. That's what I'm hearing. I don't have those scripts because that would be a whole lot of fun, but with that, there's small little snippets on the wiki for you to look and read, small descriptions of each one of the episodes and the direction that they were going to go with this show. And that's pretty fun. It's pretty exciting. Just kind of makes you wonder what could have been if parent groups or individuals weren't trying to shut the show down for one of two reasons. Many felt that it was too adult themed for children. There was too many sexual innuendos and all of the destruction and violence and all of that was in the show was not good for kids. That's, I think, what kids tuned in for, right? The destruction and the violence and the blowing up of stuff. The interactivity with the toys, that was also an issue. Well, the price of the toys to interact with was an issue. The jet was actually used as interactive part of the show, and it was using all of that infrared light and using kind of the same technology you had with your Nintendo Entertainment Center with your laser gun on the games. And with this, it kind of tried to play along with the show. I hear it didn't work very well. It doesn't work very well. It does not work with modern day TV. So if you watch the show on YouTube and you have one of these toys, it's not going to work correctly because of the way the technology has changed since then. So you got to get an old TV, an old analog TV, not a digital one, and work it that way. Maybe you can get it to work. But I hear even that way, it's still hard to get it to function properly, and they were very expensive. So expensive, I never owned any of the vehicles when I was a kid. Now, as a kid, I had a handful of the figures, and I want to say that I felt like they were sort of cheaper versions of, say, G.I. Joe figures, and with that, they had less articulation. The plastic was very cheap. It had the gold and silver plastic syndrome where the weapons break, the figures break, they don't hold up. They feel like hollow shells of figures, but I will give them this. They look absolutely fantastic because of the vac metal that was used, and that's amazing. But this day and age, the figures don't hold up as well as they should. I look forward to much better modern takes on these figures. One last issue with the original show was the time slot. Now, that won't be an issue now because of the fact that we have streaming services. Of course, a movie would be in the movie theaters and then streaming on the services a few months later. All of those issues would be resolved because you'd be able to watch it whenever you wanted to, for the most part. But back in the day, I had to go to church while this show was on, so I missed it most of the time. Unless I was homesick from church, is the only time I was able to watch this. I don't know why they had it on a Sunday, but that's when it aired in my area, so I very seldom got to watch the show as a kid. Mostly lived vicariously through the commercials. Well, there's my argument for Captain Power being primed for a reboot. I'd like to know whatever happened to Phoenix Rising. That was another whole chapter of this that just seemed like it had a lot of support and excitement and just went away. But I would love to see Captain Power come back as a movie, as a TV series, and however it does. And of course, the accompanying toy line would be phenomenal with the modern day technology and sculpts and quality, hopefully, versus the original toy line. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you know about Captain Power? Do you like Captain Power? What is your experience with the show and the toy line? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, Titanium Hanger out.
Power on. To smash our opposition once and for all, and we shall take it.
I couldn't have done it without you.
Resistance 1. Dread's got them. They're taking them by convoy through Sector 9, Grid 3.
When are they moving?
Yes, you know what to do.
Confirmed, my lord. Victory is ours, Dread.
With the power base in my hands, nothing can stop the birth of the new order.